Sir, it is very cool to talk to you today. Thank you for the time.
Yeah, no worry. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
I had to start by asking, did you go back and did you read the story first before the movie, or did you just go with the script?
Went with the script and then read the book, actually, once we were done. Yeah.
What did you think, having shot the film then, and then read the book? What did you think of that?
Well, I think, you want to shoot a movie and you want to be faithful as you can to the source material. But I think doing it that way for me was like, I was able to experience it as just a reader and without the pressure of trying to live up to it. But I wanted to honor the script that we had and then just experience the book, lovely book that we have as the book itself. So yeah, it was nice. What
did you think of the pressure? Because obviously so many people have read the story.
Yeah.
Going into the movie, did you feel the pressure?
I think the first time I experienced or understood the pressure of like being faithful to adapting a book was I loved Harry Potter, and when I saw the movies, his eyes were blue in the movies, right? And in the book, his eyes are green.
Right.
And I remember I was like 7 years old or something like that, and I told my mom, I was like, this movie sucks. His eyes are blue, and it's not right. And so people take it very seriously. So I completely understand the pressures of getting every detail right. I think we stayed very faithful to the message and the intent of the book. Right. And so I hope people are happy with that.
Well, so then talking about stepping to Axel, what was your first thought about him? What were you thinking about, his demeanor, his style?
Yeah, getting to know Axel was very much the same as the audience and Whitney gets to know him too. Like he's this gentleman who's built up this wall around him, this physical body, but it's also a metaphor for keeping people out. And so that's sort of how I looked at him too. I was like, "Who are you? He is this mysterious, brooding guy, right? That very, very much fits the YA genre, but." There was so much more reasons as to why he was that way, and so I had to sort of dig deep and understand his traumas and his backstory and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Did you find once you start playing him, did he change at all? Because I know some people say they get an idea and then you start to get into him and you're like, oh, a little different. But was it exactly what you expected, or?
It was this beautiful concoction of both. You kind of like when you're prepping for something, you have an idea of who they are, and you make choices, and you make, this is what I'm going to bring to on the day, and then you get there, and then the set's there, and the other actors there, and the director's there, and you discover new things as you go. It's just kind of beautiful that way.
That's cool. What was this cast like to work with? Obviously, very cool team.
Yeah.
What was that like when you're working?
Well, it was incredible because I actually had a majority of my scenes with Rachel Boudwin, my co-star, who's so fantastic in this. So I had a majority of my scenes with her, and we all hung out while we filmed it, but I didn't have very many scenes with anybody else. When I watched the movie, I was so blown away how great everyone did. Like, the supporting cast is fantastic. They really are like the heartbeat and what makes the movie what it is. So yeah, working with them, super fun, really talented group of people. It was a pleasure, yeah.
What's it like to build this kind of romance? It's like the ups and downs throughout the story, and obviously they have a very unique dynamic. It's different from what you've seen in other stories.
Yeah, there was a certain privilege and a responsibility to these characters, and for Rachel and I to be in a movie like this, and to be two people who, maybe are in the minority and are not really represented on screen all that much. And so for the two of us to be there and to tell this story, it was so special for us, special for me. And I hope somebody who watches the movie out there can see themselves in us. And yeah, that would be my hope.
That's cool. What is she like as a scene partner?
Rachel is a force, like an incredible actress. Like, I was blown away. I was sort of just in awe of her. She's incredibly talented, incredibly present, and this was her first, on-screen gig, really. But but she's one of those actresses that just needs the right moment to shine, and she shined so bright in this. She was really fantastic. Yeah.
It's really cool to see her in the outfit too.
Yeah, which one are you talking about?
The whole like Archer outfit, like
yeah, totally. Like that was really
so
cool. That was
especially
really cool.
the way it pops up throughout the story. So
yeah, if you're a fan of like that sort of fantasy stuff,
Yeah.
like it's cool. Yeah.
I love to at the point in the story when they're basically bonding over this story.
Mm-hmm.
So. For you, can you relate to that? Do you have interest in anything like that you kind of geek out over?
Absolutely. I always say, like, my mom is Whitney Carmichael, like, actually in real life. Yeah.
That's cool.
My mom reads a book a day. In our house, it's very much like this office, like there's books everywhere. She loves Harlequin love novels. But she is the one that introduced me into like science fiction.
Oh, interesting.
And so many different like IPs and things like that. So I'm a huge fan of Lord of the Rings, huge fan of Stephen King and Spider Robinson, which is a really fantastic Canadian author.
Yeah.
Like just I grew up with the real life Whitney Carmichael, so yeah, like I very much relate to that. Yeah,
that's cool too, because I mean, I know I got into sci-fi and stuff because of a teacher, but I very rarely heard of a parent being the one to introduce them to that kind of thing. Sometimes,
yeah, it was my mom. Yeah,
that's
I gotta
cool.
give her credit for that. Yeah.
So we got to talk about prep for this, because I'm guessing it took a lot of work to be ready for this. What did it take?
So which prep are you talking about? The acting or the physical part of it?
The physical, I mean, obviously the acting too would take work, but the physical side is, I mean,
it was.
You look ripped in this.
Sure, yeah. I think we the audition took place, and then from the audition to being there on camera was maybe 21 days, maybe 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And so I had a gym at my house, and it was still coming out of COVID, so you had to reserve the gym by yourself. Right. So it was me by myself in a gym every day, 2 days. I had a really fantastic trainer and a really great nutritionist who helped me through the process. My trainer's name is Alex Fine. He's an actor now too. He's really great. And he built this program for me. It was a 21-day program to get ready. It's sort of that short turnaround, like can it snap you back in? And it's grueling. It sucked, but I hope it was worth it, and that it paid off in the end.
That's cool. Well, it looked like you really were ready for this role. Well, the other thing I want to know is you've got this fan base who are built in, dying to see it. What was your favorite moment filming that you think they're going to really geek out about? Or what was your favorite moment to film?
I think there's a scene near the end of the movie where we are, the characters of Axel and Whitney meet up at this lake. They go for, they have a little cheeky, little swim. And the scene following that, it's very charged, and it reveals the most about the two characters to themselves. And I think audiences will be excited for that scene in particular. And Rachel's fantastic in it, so please watch it for that. Yeah,
that's cool. Well, the last thing I want to know is you're also filming something else based on a Wattpad novel. What can you say? Is there much you can say yet?
Sure, yeah, Sidelined. It's starring Noah Beck, Sienna Agudong, who are wonderful people. Justin Wu is the director. He's a Toronto native here in Toronto. And I've known Justin for years. He started out as a photographer.
Yeah.
And I've been rooting for him to do great things in the directing role. And he's been working his way up. This is his first feature film. It's super exciting. It's truly a coming-of-age story, but mixed with, family traumatic dynamics and things like that. So it's more than meets the eye, and it's a really, it's a wonderful script. Great group of creatives behind it, and it's a football movie. James Van Der Beek's in it. It's really cool. Yeah.
That's cool. And you play correct. Who do you play?
So my character's name is Nathan. He's like the older brother of Sienna's character,
Right.
and he's the football coach at the high school there.
That's what I thought.
Noah's
Okay.
character plays at. Yeah.
That's cool. So are you ready to play a football coach?
Totally ready. I played
That's
football
cool.
for 13 years.
Oh, really?
And at one point wanted to go pro. Like that was my dream.
Wow.
And so I've been literally waiting in the wings for something like this to be able to flex my football knowledge and get out there and talk football and do that whole thing. It was really fun. And emulate the coaches that coached me. That was like the whole
Right.
thing. I had a lot of source material to draw from. So yeah.
Is he going to be a fair coach, a tough coach?
He's very fair and definitely what we would call like a player's coach. You know, he goes to bat for the players and he's not there for the brass or anything like that. He's there for the players. Yeah.
That's cool. Thank you very much.
No, thank you, Andrew. I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me.